Profound hearing loss, how to hear again with cochlear implants. Forthose with profound hearing loss, the world is silent. The cochlear nerve, also known as the auditory nerve, is damaged beyond repair. The tiny hair cells located in the cochlea responsible for moving electrical impulses to the brain are no longer viable. This has resulted in profound deafness for individuals with this condition. It can happen at any time before birth or long after being born. All is not lost. With the advent of scientific technological advances, the cochlear implant may give new life to a deaf existence. People who cannot hear at all may finally be able to hear sounds they have lost the capacity to hear, or hear sounds they have never heard before. The cochlear implant is a hearing device that is surgically implanted on the side of the head, behind the ear, in the temporal bone. There is an external part that fits around the ear and is worn much like a behind-the-ear (BTE) hearing aid. The device replaces the work of damaged inner ear structures, using vibration that sends signals to the brain for interpretation. How does the cochlear implant work? The cochlear implant device is comprised of internal and external pieces. The external part consists of microphone, battery, magnet, radio frequency antenna that transmits sound, microcomputer that processes sound. The microcomputer converts sounds into signals, sending the sounds to the implanted internal part which receives the sounds. The internal part, the receiver, is called a receiver/stimulator and includes a microcomputer, radio antenna, magnet and electrode array. The magnets are of opposite polarity and hold the external device over the internal device. The radio frequency antennas allow digital communication between the external and internal parts. Sound is picked up by the microphone, which sends the sound to the speech processor, microcomputer. The sound is processed into signals then sent to the transmitting antenna. The signals are then sent to electrodes that stimulate the undamaged area of the cochlear nerve fibers. The signals are then sent to the brain where they are interpreted by the brain into sound. The cochlear implant does not restore hearing as we know it. What it actually does is translate sound into a signal that is sent to the brain. The brain translates this signal into information that can be recognized as sound coming from the environment. Age is significant in being able to translate the sound produced. Young children apparently have no problem doing this. The older a person is, the more difficulty there is in performing the translation. Concentrated training is required, performed by a professional who is skilled in administering this type of training. Cochlear implants as a solution for profound hearing loss. Making the decision to do something about your loss of the ability to hear is commendable, and an important first step towards improving not only your hearing but the quality of your life. Most people begin by seeing an audiologist, receiving a diagnosis, and starting down a treatment path. While full recovery is unlikely if not impossible in most cases, especially when the loss of the ability to hear is linked to age, it is possible to use technology to resume living your life. Those who were previously struggling with simple tasks like watching television, listening to the radio, working and even having simple conversations with family and friends, not to mention over the telephone, have been amazed at just how great technology can be when used correctly. Others begin using devices like hearing aids and are greatly disappointed. When the immediate effect isn't the life-changing result they'd been hoping for, they fall into a bigger despair than ever. Instead of getting down, it may be time to delve a little deeper with an audiologist about alternatives. One such common alternative is a cochlear implant. The most basic description of a cochlear implant is that of a device which allows those who are suffering from severe loss of the ability to hear to achieve some of the sensations that hearing aids are not strong enough to provide. A simple device with two main parts, a cochlear implant is surgically inserted into the ear. The first part, the electrode array, is implanted into the individual's ear, specifically the cochlea, while an external speed processor is worn behind the ear. Small but strong microphones as the external portion of the cochlear implant will be able to detect and convert sounds into digital signals, then send these signals through a combination of internal and external magnets to the electrode array in the cochlea where the sensory hearing cells are stimulated. The end result will be a nerve impulse, traveling along the auditory nerve, which the auditory cortex will recognize as sound. This is what allows the wearer to hear where hearing aids might fail. The auditory experience provided by a cochlear implant can help individuals in the detection of sounds in the environment like a ringing telephone, the ability to detect and understand speech, and the regained ability to join in communication with others. Of course, as with any medical procedure involving a type of medical technology, There are many factors that can affect the effectiveness of the device, like the age of the subject, whether or not the person was able to hear before the cochlear implant, the willingness of the wearer to adjust and form new skills, and the success of long-term support and habilitation. Whether talking about hearing aids or cochlear implants, the wearer will find that his or her commitment and positive attitude will go further than any amount of medical technology and intervention in determining the success of the outcome. If you or someone you know or love seems like a good candidate for such a procedure, it is important to see an audiologist as soon as possible for the best possible procedural outcome of a cochlear implant to be realized.